Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Bookie Bashing. Week 8 NFL season is here. Very excited to get to this card. We are loving life. I am your host, Anthony Nikki Jr. Yo, Ace, how you feel, baby?
Feeling like the cream of the crop after last week, Tony. 5-0, feeling great rolling in that dough right now.
Joey Staxxx landed, came out very loud, glowing. I see that new watch. I guess we had a little something to do with that.
Yeah, you better believe it, Tone. Wandering around Caesars, found my way into the Hublot store, picking out my piece. I went with the big bang. A couple diamonds in it, as you can see.
Yeah, it's loud. It's loud. Obnoxious, but why not? Perfect weekend. 5-0 last week. Gonna continue to build on that marathon that is the NFL season. Feeling great. Yet to lose an overplay, a total play so far this year. And we are raring to go on this Week 8 card. Love these 5 games. See another 5-0 week coming at you. Gonna continue this season. Loving these games. Feeling 10-0 over the last 2 weeks. Let's keep riding. Let's keep waiting. Let's not waste any more time. Hit them at the top. Week 8 NFL action.
Chicago at New England.
We have been perfect so far this year on totals play. Going to start Week 8 off with another one. Here we go, Chicago, New England. Love this thing to go over the posted total of 50 points. Bears team comes in, having gone over in 8 of the last 11 games overall, 5 of 6 on the road. Now, I got a Bears team that just was embarrassed at home, at least on the offensive side of the ball last weekend against Miami. Still have yet to pick up a home win so far this season. Jay Cutler getting called out now by teammates. He's got so many weapons there. Alshon Jeffrey, Brandon Marshall, Martellus Bennett. Got Matt Forte really starting to click into gear. I think this offense bounces back this week and puts up some points here against New England. New England has gone over 55 out of their last 81 games overall. Break that thing down. 2 of 3 games are going over for them. Here's a team that gives up points, but they can score points also. Over 36, 17, and 1 in their last 54 games at home for these Patriots. It's just a team that usually goes over at home. The only way you stop them from scoring is to have a good defensive pass rush. The Bears don't have that. Brady's going to have time in the pocket. He's going to hit a bunch of different receivers. Chicago's going to be able to maintain pace. I expect this thing to cruise over the posted total of 50.
Yeah, love this New England offense now. They're really clicking. Tom Brady has found that connection with LaFell. Like you said, you knew it was coming, and now we're starting to see that. Still has his other weapons. Him and Gronk, they're going to do a thing this weekend for sure. We have, on the other side of the ball, a very capable team. A lot of weapons. Brandon Marshall, like you said, just called out Jay Cutler. And when something like that happens, I always look for that connection to hook up. I really see Brandon Marshall getting in the end zone once, more like twice on Sunday, and I just can't see this game not getting over. We're going to roll with that over, and we're going to love it.
Yeah, I really like how Tony and Staxxx were talking about Brandon Marshall because I think he could be an X factor in this game for the Bears. Now, Darrelle Revis is going to bounce between him and Jeffrey, and definitely Jay Cutler is going to be looking for Matt Forte out of the backfield and Martellus Bennett right down the seam in the middle. That's going to open up some space once the Patriots defense tries to shut those two down as the game gets going. I think Brandon Marshall could have one of his first really big days of this season. Now, the Patriots and Bears really have different philosophies when it comes to offense. The Bears like to use a few main contributors on their team and really just use their big weapons throughout the game. The Patriots like to really spread the ball around. Right now, the Bears, they only have 8 guys with a reception. The thing is, 5 of them have a touchdown reception. The Patriots, they have 14 guys with a reception, with half of them getting touchdown receptions. Patriots love to spread the ball around, and they're going to get a few random guys touchdowns. I think a guy like Tim Wright, who they went out and traded for earlier this season, might be due for a big game. If not this week, pretty soon. Tom's going to be able to use all of his weapons this week against a defense that's definitely going to look average while they're on the road. And I'll be honest, while I like the Patriots defense, it can look a little lost every now and then. And I think against the Bears with a lot of weapons, they're going to look lost more often than not in this game. I think that the Patriots can put a lot of points on, but I think the Bears can keep up with them for a decent amount of time, and that this total definitely gets over.
You don't want to get too much into it, but love that Tim Wright bring up. We were waiting for Brandon LaFell to do it early in the year. This is the next guy to break out for New England. Love this thing to cruise over that posted total of 50. Think this thing turns into a slugfest a little bit. 31-28 final. Patriots end up on top.
Baltimore at Cincinnati.
Gotta say, one of my favorite plays of this week are these Cincinnati Bengals coming back home laying 1 point against the Baltimore Ravens. Love these Bengals here. Public down on this team, way down. They're 0-2-1 in their last 3 games overall. But as I always say, nothing ever as good as it seems, nothing ever as bad as it seems. Somewhere in the middle reality lies, and this is a perfect example of that game. AFC North teams really compete at home. Though head-to-head matchups with those AFC North teams are great in the favor of the home team. I got a Bengals team that's 13-3 against the spread in their last 16 home games, 6-2 against the spread following a straight-up loss. What does that mean? They come back good after a loss. Now here I go. I get A.J. Green back from an injury, a big weapon for this Bengals offense. The defense is pretty solid. I think they're going to slow down a Baltimore attack that struggles in Cincinnati. 1-4 against the spread in the last 5 games in Cincy, and head-to-head, they're only 3-7-1 against the spread. Bengals have the Baltimore Ravens number. They beat them in Week 1 this year. I think they come back. This AFC North is going to be a battle all the way through this season. It's not going to be a runaway. Look what the Bengals did to Pittsburgh last week, but then look what Pittsburgh did to Baltimore. It's just a battle in this division. It's going to continue to be that battle. Take the Bengals laying 1 at home to get just an outright victory here.
Yeah, this is really an opportunity where you can sell high on a team and buy low on another team. The Baltimore Ravens right now are playing unbelievable on defense, and their offense is clicking a lot at the moment. But they're a team that when they go on the road, their offense can look kind of bad at times. So people forget that when they went down Tampa Bay and absolutely smoked those dumb Buccaneers. But at the end of the day, they're a team that when they go on the road, they do look worse, and the offense does slow up. I think it's going to come to reality this week in Cincinnati, a defense that's played absolutely out of their minds right now. If you look at the numbers, the Ravens defense is averaging giving up less than 15 points per game. Yet they're still averaging giving up 350 yards a game. That's about what Cincinnati's offense averages. And they still average to get over 22 points. So the Bengals aren't going to be stifled. They're still going to get the same amount of yards they usually do on offense. And I think that they're going to be able to put up a little bit more points than they usually do by converting their red zone opportunities into touchdowns. That's really going to be the X factor in this game. They've been a better red zone team so far this season than the Ravens have. I think the Ravens aren't going to be able to get those touchdowns. They're going to be kicking a lot of field goals once they get in the red zone. I think the Bengals have the exact opposite. They get the touchdowns. They get the 7 points. The Bengals win this one.
Yeah, I like these Bengals here. We got A.J. Green coming back. That's going to provide a big boost for these Cincinnati Bengals. They have a couple other nice complementary weapons. Mohamed Sanu, he can get the job done. Gio Bernard out of the backfield looks great. I really think that this Bengals team is going to pull everything they got out and really give it a battle in a division matchup here against these Baltimore Ravens, who can be streaky. They played well, like Ace said, but this just has that feeling to where this division game will get to them, and they're not going to be able to give it their all. They're not going to be able to come over the top and get the victory. Cincinnati Bengals, give it their all and pull out a win.
Yeah, call me crazy. I said to these guys today, if you just bet every AFC North battle, the home team, you will make so much money throughout the year. This is a division completely up for grabs, and it's a physical division. Tough. Cleveland Browns are back. Steelers, same old Steelers. Ravens, same tough team. Bengals, they're back in the picture again. Love these Bengals laying 1 at home. Might be a defensive battle. Might sweat a little, but they come out on top. 23-16 victory.
St. Louis at Kansas City.
In the roller coaster ride of an NFL season, got to get on teams while they are at the top. Now I get the Kansas City Chiefs laying 7 at home against the St. Louis Rams, and you got to love these Chiefs here. Pretty hot right now. Big division win last week on the road in San Diego. Andy Reid improves his record to 14-2 after a bye week in his career. It's really when his teams start to get the wheels in motion, start to get things going. I think they start to make a little bit of noise here in the AFC West. They come in quietly 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games overall. It's a Chiefs team that's starting to come together. They run the ball very well. Alex Smith, not everybody's favorite quarterback, not going to put up huge numbers, but manages the game well. Arrowhead, tough place to play. Interstate rivalry game for the Rams here, coming in 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 overall, 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 road games. Huge high last week in the division win against the Seattle Seahawks, your defending Super Bowl champions. But truth be told, I don't think Austin Davis and company can put that together 2 weeks in a row. Traveling to Arrowhead, not a long trip, but Arrowhead is rocking. Tough place to play, going to be covered in red. Rams, it's a tough draw for them. I think Kansas City cruises here by double digits.
Folks, we all know that the St. Louis Rams had that big in-division win against the defending champion Seahawks. But if you really break down the numbers, they didn't play that well in the game. If you take away that unbelievably creative punt return that went for a touchdown and the fake punt that went for the first down towards the end of the game, that was probably an absolutely horrible call despite it working, they still got outgained by over 200 yards in that game. Not only that, but they're really getting torched in the running game. Last week, Marshawn Lynch and Russell Wilson really torched them. Let me focus in on their rushing numbers for the last 5 games. They go 186, 157, 120, 123, 145, and 171. Jamal Charles is absolutely salivating over that. And for a Kansas City team that just played a really tough game on the road in San Diego against a team many people were thinking is one of the top AFC teams right up there with the Denver Broncos, they went into their house and beat them for a huge win last week. That really shows the toughness of this Chiefs team and that they're just a much better team than this Rams team is. Now, the Rams do have a lot of injuries. If they were healthy, I do think they'd be a better team. And we all heard Brett Favre talking up Austin Davis. Now, I don't mind Austin Davis. I'm actually kind of rooting for the kid this entire season. But I think Brett Favre just wandered out of the woods and watched 1 week because Austin Davis has not looked like a great starting quarterback this whole year. In fact, he's pretty much shown that he's a backup quarterback at best, and that's fine. But that's not going to win this week in Kansas City. Last week, the Rams got 2 of their touchdowns on a combined 31 yards of offense. That's not going to happen again this week against a Kansas City defense that's really going to grind you down and wear you out throughout the game. The Kansas City Chiefs defense has not allowed over 250 passing yards yet this season, and that includes a game against Peyton Manning. I don't care what Brett Favre says about Austin Davis. He's not going to be the first guy this season to get over 250 yards against the Kansas City Chiefs, and I really think at the end of the day, the Chiefs run all over the Rams. They get their 4th game of over 150 rushing yards. Heck, they could even get their 3rd game of over 170 rushing yards this season. The Rams absolutely get torched against the Chiefs.
Yeah, Ace, this is going to be the Jamal Charles show. The guy is an absolute freak in the backfield, and he's going to be doing a lot of work this week. Alex Smith, not a huge passer, not going to throw the deep ball too often, so they're going to really rely on that run game. And Jamal Charles is going to pound that ball all game long, catch balls out of the backfield. Niall Davis will be in there to pound that ball. Love this game, actually. I love Arrowhead Stadium, tough stadium to play. St. Louis coming off of that big win against Seattle. Really going to show their true colors this week. They are not a winning team, and against a well-coached Kansas City team, they are going to really be dizzy by the time the game's over because that offense is going to run laps around. Take these Chiefs to cover the 7. They're going to win by 2, maybe 3 touchdowns.
Here's a Chiefs squad that I think falls on the outside of that AFC playoff picture, but they're about a 500 team, and compared to a Rams squad that I think is going to be picking in the top 5 this year, love the Chiefs here to get a big win that they have to have at home in Arrowhead by double digits, 24-6 final.
Philadelphia at Arizona.
Coming at you with a big lines maker error here in Week 8 is the Philadelphia Eagles getting 2.5 points in Arizona. Going to play it smart as always. Tell you to buy the hook. Don't get beat by the field goal. We're going to take it to +3, but we love these Eagles to get you an outright winner against the Cardinals. Here's a Philadelphia Eagles team that I get coming off of a bye. They've been solid in the first half of the year, going 6-1. Chip Kelly is a coach with extra time is going to put together a great scheme for you. Chip Kelly's a coach with extra time, puts together a great scheme for you. Now he goes against Bruce Arians, who he beat last year. Listen, I'm a huge guy with trends. I live and die by them in sports gambling, and I'm not going to bullshit you. The trends for the Eagles aren't great this year in Arizona, but most of those trends come from when Andy Reid was coaching the Eagles and when Ken Whisenhunt was in charge of the Arizona Cardinals. I have Bruce Arians, who's 0-1 against Philly. They lost last year in Philadelphia, 24-21. Chip Kelly gets 2 weeks to prepare for this Cardinals team. Arizona, I got Linguini on at quarterback. I got a team that's been leading the NFC West so far. I don't think they're that good. They're a solid team. They're a wild card playoff team. But I think Seattle and San Francisco gets back in the picture this week. I love the Eagles' offense off of a bye to put up points. I buried their defense to start the year. I'm the first to admit that I was wrong. They get the big play when they need the big play. They lead the league in points scored by their defense and special teams. Now I get an extra week for that defense and special teams to prepare. That's a huge X factor. Do not devalue that. Eagles should be laying points here. They want to scare the better to get on these Cardinals. Eagles are the better one-loss team here. Take them to get a road victory in Arizona.
Love the extra week to prepare, like Tony said. We have a very explosive Eagles offense here versus a kind of vanilla Cardinals offense. Carson Palmer, I'm a big Carson Palmer hater. Linguini arm, as you heard Tony refer to him as. The guy hasn't made that big mistake yet this season, those interceptions like he did in previous years. But trust me, it's coming. And this Cardinals team will self-destruct. The defense is good. I'll give them that. But the Eagles defense is definitely playing above what we've known the Eagles defense to be. They're getting the job done. They're not letting up a lot of points. And that explosive Eagles offense, LaShawn McCoy and Darren Sproles, they're going to start working. They're going to start running. LaShawn McCoy is going to become that LaShawn McCoy we all know. Love Chip Kelly and the extra week to prepare here off the bye. I honestly feel comfortable laying 3 points here, but feeling extremely comfortable taking the 3 points. I feel like I'm committing a crime here. Going to go ahead and take them points and roll with the Eagles here.
Yeah, I would be really worried if I was the Arizona Cardinals. Chip Kelly has that extra week to prepare for an Arizona Cardinals team that isn't that great. Their defense has been playing solid. Their offense has been looking all right despite some injuries. And they've grinded out some wins, but they're not going to be able to grind out a win this week against the Philadelphia team that should be laying points. Philadelphia is 8th right now in scoring. The problem for Arizona is they're 21st in scoring, 30th in yards. They're really just not going to be able to compete. They're a team that tries to focus in on the main receiver on a team, shut him down with Patrick Peterson, and really hinder the team's offensive capabilities that way. Philly really mixes the ball around. They have 11 different guys with a reception, and some of their top receivers aren't the leading receivers on the team. You have Brent Selleck, who's 6th in the team, and LaShawn McCoy 7th in the team in receiving yards. That just shows they like to hit their secondary targets just as much as their top targets. They don't mind if you shut down any top guy because they're just going to get in that hurry up, call play, and hit whoever's open. I think Nick Foles looks like the Nick Foles of last year a little bit, and I could see him putting up a really big day. If you have him in fantasy, you should probably start him because I think he's going to torch these Arizona Cardinals. I could see the Eagles getting up early. I don't see Linguini being able to focus in on his receivers enough to get the job done this Sunday. I think the Eagles win in a rout.
Take advantage of this odds maker error here in Week 8 as the Eagles getting points on the road following the bye. Love this Birds team here. Think they are a real contender in the NFC. They get an outright winner on the road in Arizona, 29-24 final.
Green Bay at New Orleans.
Going to give you a second consecutive primetime winner. The Steelers rolled on Monday night last week against the Texans. Love this Sunday night game as we are for the first time at Bookie Bashing. Going to give you 2 total plays in a week. Of course, we've yet to miss one so far this year. We opened with the total in the New England-Chicago game, and we love this over 56 in Green Bay, New Orleans on Sunday night primetime. This thing opened up at 54, and Vegas can't allow it to get high enough. It's already up to 56, and hell, these two teams might make 100. It's going to be a slugfest out there on the turf, in the Dome, in New Orleans on Sunday night. Green Bay comes in having gone over in their last 4 games. 5 of 6 have gone over on the road. I have Aaron Rodgers, who's quietly about to set an NFL record for most consecutive weeks with at least 3 touchdowns thrown and no interceptions. I think he goes off against the Saints defense that struggles. Listen, last week they had a good game plan against Detroit. The defense still blew it in the final 2 minutes. New Orleans knows the only way they're going to win games is by scoring points. They've gone over in 5 of the last 6. The offense needs a victory. They're back at home where they feel comfortable. Here's a Saints team that's gone 10-0 at home against the spread in their last 10 games. Thing is, Green Bay very strong on the road, and I don't think New Orleans matches up good enough to take them. Take the over, though. New Orleans scores points. That's how they win games. They have to score tonight. Green Bay keeps up with them, pulls it out in the end. Take the over 56.
Yeah, the New Orleans Saints right now feel like a bubble that's just been waiting to burst. And each week, they're just about to burst, and they just can't. They come close, they still put a decent amount of points on the board, but they just can't have one of those weeks that they really break out and go nuts. I think that week's coming this weekend on prime time in their dome. I really like them to be able to put up points. Now, for all of their problems that they've had so far and injuries that they've had, they've still put up the 7th most yards offensively so far. Now, that's more yards than even the Packers have put up so far. The thing is, the Packers have the 2nd highest scoring offense in the whole league. This is just screaming points, and Vegas knows it. That's why they're just desperately trying to get this line as high as they can. But at a certain point, you just can't put this thing at 70 and 75. I'm not saying it's going to hit 70, but God, we do not need it to hit 70, folks. This thing is going to absolutely fly over. It's going to be nothing but points. Both defenses are really going to look lost out there. The Packers defense aren't going to be able to hear who they're supposed to cover. That dome's going to absolutely be rocking. For the Saints side, Rob Ryan and this defense really just look absolutely average this season. They're not a championship defense. I don't know if the offense can pull this whole team back into a winning picture, But I really do think this week they get enough points to keep close with Green Bay as they just keep scoring. Aaron Rodgers is going to hit Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, all his big targets, as they just keep putting points up on the board, and the Saints just got to chuck it up and try and keep with them. This is going to be the type of matchup that really got me into football when I was a kid. Just an absolute shootout between two gunslingers. It's going to be very entertaining to watch, and there's going to be a ton of points.
Get your popcorn ready, folks. We have a shootout on Sunday night. Guess who's back? Jimmy Graham. Guy can't dunk the football anymore, but he can sure get it in the end zone. Can't wait to see this guy get back to work. Can't wait to see this high-flying offense go at it. They haven't looked too great in recent games, but coming off a bye, they got a lot of time to prepare, feeling a little bit better. I'm expecting a lot of points, especially against the Green Bay team that's going to be putting up a lot of points themselves. They're going to have to compete. They're going to have to air it out. And Drew Brees, guess what? He can do just that. We got a good old Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees duel here. They're battling out. Ultimately going to be a Green Bay Packer victory, but we're going to roll with that over total. Can't get enough points out in Vegas, and we're going to go ahead and let it fly over for us.
Yeah, love this game on prime time. There is no way that this thing doesn't cruise over to posted total. Haven't missed yet this year. Not going to start this weekend. Take Green Bay and New Orleans to fly over. 38-34 final. Alrighty, folks, so that will chalk things up for Week 8 of this NFL season. Looking for consecutive 5-0 weeks as we love this card. Of course, last week, perfect cruise to that 5-0 total. Perfection. I don't know how many handicappers you got that could say that. Love this card again. As I said, Week 8, we are continuing to grow on this winning streak. It's a marathon throughout the year. If you've missed out early on, jump on now. It is not too late. If you've been with us from the beginning, continue to cruise, baby. We are just building that bankroll. It's been easy money. You know it. This Week 8 card is looking pretty, and we love it. Going to continue to build on that perfect total record of the season as we open up with the Chicago Bears heading into New England over the posted total of 50, as this will be a slugfest 31-28 final. Secondly, coming at you with the Cincinnati Bengals back at home, laying the 1 point in a huge AFC North battle against the Baltimore Ravens. They win a field goal game 23-16 final, taking the Kansas City Chiefs to come back home, laying 7 against a bad St. Louis Rams team. Double-digit victory there, 24-26. Philadelphia Eagles in a lines maker error. You should be laying points. We are getting 2.5. Play it safe. Buy the hook as always. Don't get beat by the field goal. Going to take that to 3. But the Eagles come to Arizona and get a big road win outright, 29-24. And then a second total play. We've yet to miss, as I've said, on totals so far this year. For the first time, giving you 2 totals in a week. Sunday night, we're going to cruise, baby. Green Bay, New Orleans, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. Vegas can't set this thing high enough. We are going to cruise over that posted total of 56-38-34 final. Folks, stop missing out. If you've been thinking about it, stop thinking about it, baby. We're building bankrolls. We're making you money. 5-0 last week, going to get us to 10-0 over the last 2 weeks with this card that we love this weekend. For my gambling colleagues, my experts, Mr. Ace Berg, Joey Staxxx, I am your host, Anthony Nikki Jr., saying continue to make money, enjoy your weekend. We will see you here next time at www.bookiebashingats.com.